Rose, we had a moment. We had a moment that I will never forget late last night in the NBA playoffs. Game tied at 1:15. Dame Lillard with the basketball. And let's take a look at what happens next. He's just dribbling out the clock, and the man you call Logo Lillard did that. Jalen Rose, this was an unbelievable shot. What did you think of this moment from Lillard?
It was a terrific, triumphant moment for Dame, and it embodies what so many people like myself love about sports, but also how we continue to debate things in sports, and here's what I mean. Just this time last year, I was defending the honor of Dame because for the second consecutive year, they had gotten swept out of the playoffs, and people were questioning, was he even better than Drew Holiday? Okay, so all of a sudden you get a chance to play against Russell Westbrook, a former MVP, a guy that's averaged triple-doubles for 3 straight years, Paul George, who's also an MVP candidate this year, who've already beat you 4 times this season. He started off the series, as I said on this fine program, by throwing a haymaker. He shot the ball from 35 feet on the right side, and he knocked it down. It sent the message to not only his teammates, but to the opponent. And last night, that was the knockout punch that sends OKC home for the 3rd consecutive year in the first round.
You know, I didn't consider that, Jalen. The very first possession of this series, he walked the ball up, didn't pass, didn't call play, and just pulled up from 35. The very last possession of the series, he kind of did the same thing. He bookended the series with unbelievable shots. The thing about that shot that was so crazy, and also let's make it bigger the way that you did, the way we talk about sports. Do you know what the conversation is today? Is Russell Westbrook the problem for the Thunder? Russell Westbrook had 29 points, 11 rebounds, and 14 assists. If that ball just rims out to the left and the Thunder end up winning, we don't talk about is Russell Westbrook the problem. We celebrate his playoff triple-double. Like, this is just a game of inches, and today is a day for Dame and the Trailblazers to celebrate. But let's not talk about the Thunder like there's a big problem. There isn't. The Thunder are fine. If they're going to be fine. Like, I don't think this is like a bad thing for Russell Westbrook and the Thunder. But one thing I do love about this particular shot is just how much Dame loved putting that team away. Just how you could tell he wanted it after game 3. The Blazers noticed the way that the baby rocking and the talking and the jawing, and they were just saving up for this moment so he could wave goodbye to the Thunder. I absolutely loved it so much.
And also for young athletes out there and just people who can hear my voice, I want people to still pay attention to something. Honor amongst thieves is not still lost in today's sports. Dame been a terror since the public school era. There's so many people walking around the face of the earth today and like Dame's underrated. As an MVP, All-NBA voter, I voted him All-NBA the last couple of seasons. As a matter of fact, for those who have not been paying attention, Adidas commercial, Hulu commercial, max deal with the Portland Trail Blazers, committed to not joining a super team because he knew these moments were in his future. It was just a matter of time, space, and the opportunity. And for those like Paul George who question whether that's a good or bad shot, let me also say this. That is a bad shot. Okay, let me say it one more time. That is a bad shot.
Okay.
Except for if you Steph Curry, Dame Lillard, Kyrie Irving, or James Harden. For the rest of the world out there, yes, that's a bad shot. There are people that are entering that category like a Trae Young in the future. But for right now, that category is for a select few, especially when you're talking about doing it off the dribble versus off the catch.
It was such a good shot, and I loved the celebration afterwards. The first thing he did was look over to the Thunder bench and give them a little wave goodbye. After the game, he referenced that. Let's listen to Video Game Dame.
It looked like after you hit that shot, you waved to the Oklahoma City bench. Could you just describe that moment and just kind of the emotion, what you were thinking at that point?
I mean, the series was over. You know, that was it. And I was just waving goodbye to him. After game 3, you know, Dennis Schroeder was out there pointing to his wrist. They was out there doing all these celebrations and doing all this stuff, and we kept our composure. And after one win, that was what they decided to do. And we was just like, okay, what we want to do is win 4 games. And then when we win those 4 games, it's not going to be nothing to talk about. So that's what that was.
I love it. That's what they did after 1 game. We wanted to win 4 games. And after we win 4 games, there's not going to be nothing to talk about. What do you think about Dame and his composure throughout the series?
I really appreciate his maturity. And also, of course, you want to stay true to your character. And a lot of players are demonstrative and outgoing. And rightfully so, if that's who you are. But it's refreshing to me to see a guy like Dame who doesn't deal with the emotional turbulence that comes with the game, the post-game, the situations that happen throughout the game. And in an era where we're so enamored with the killer crossover and trying to break ankles, the guy can actually miss the shot, but yet we're still going to show whether he broke somebody's ankles and they fell down. When you watch Dame play, he's economic with the ball. He's going north and south. If he has a shot, he shoots it. If it's a pick and roll and he can split it, he will. Other than that, he's getting on balance and he's trying to get downhill. It's not really highlights per se. So I like the fact that his game has grown to the point where now people are appreciating it. And you already said it. For those that follow this show, they already know. We've had multiple nicknames for the Portland Trail Blazers. We called their backcourt the Mama's Boys because him and CJ was terrific. And shout out to Mo Harkless. He played really well and he's not getting enough credit. Video game Dame, logo Lillard, Dame Dollar, Dame Time. Like, we've understood that he was a terrific performer. And that knock on the door is Dame now entering superstardom. And it doesn't happen when you get swept out of the playoffs in back-to-back years or when you lose to the Thunder for 4 times this year. It happens when you make a 50-piece with 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and 10 threes, something that no player in the history of the league has done.
Well, he wasn't just good last night. He was great through this whole series. Let's take a look at some of the numbers that Dame put up. Look at this in the playoffs. 33 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds, over 2 steals, 3-point percentage almost at 50%. Dame is now a superstar. That signature moment makes you a household name. Can he keep this up through the second round?
I think he can keep it up because his performance, while they struggled in the playoffs the last couple of years, the Portland Trail Blazers were a 3 seed last year as well as this year. We just view it, for some strange reason, a lot of people do, as an upset. This ain't no upset. Like, Terry Stotts has done a terrific job with that basketball team. Having 1 All-Star, Amino did a terrific job of playing defense, in particular on that last play against Russ that he forced to miss. How about adding Cantor late in the season? He can now play quality minutes when you lose Nurkic. So there are a lot of different levels to the Portland Trail Blazers and them advancing and seeing if they can continue to play good basketball. And I'm a believer. Let's see how far they can take it.
I'm so excited about this team and that shot. But now it is time for News That Matters. Jalen Rose, we dubbed this show a Pop the Trunk production years and years ago because it was kind of like we were doing it ourselves, selling it out of the back of our trunks. Well, I'm about to show you the very first Pop the Trunk dunk. Take a look at this. This dude gets on an elephant trunk, gets launched into the air, and then dunks the basketball. Jalen, what do you think about the Pop the Trunk dunk?
I think that's animal cruelty, is what I believe.
What?
The elephant didn't sign up for that.
What do you mean? The elephant seems happy. They seem to have a good relationship.
Now, if that elephant...
For quite some time. Listen,
First off...
That elephant helped his teammate more than you ever helped any of your teammates in the NBA in 13 years, okay?
It's a noble gesture. I bet it took a lot of practice. First and foremost, it takes a lot of courage to become friends with the elephant.
You got
and then
become friends.
Friends to the point where you're allowing me to get on you and then launch me into the air to the point where I could actually dunk the basketball. That's a long, nurturing relationship that they had and a level of trust that I just couldn't be able to accumulate.
It takes a lot of trial and error to dunk off an elephant trunk. Let's take a look at some of the trial and some of the error. So here he is practicing. You really hit the nail on the head. It takes a lot of practice. And this one, as you mentioned, it does take a lot of trust. You got to build the relationship. So it doesn't always work. Jalen Rose, very quickly, what's your number?
Elephant
What's your number
in the air. That dude almost broke his neck. $1 million.
To have an elephant launch you in the air and attempt to dunk, what is your number?
$1 million.
You always go so high. So you're trying to tell me for $900,000 you wouldn't get on the elephant? For $900,000 cash, tax-free?
David Dowling Jacoby.
Yes,
Did
sir.
you see that man get launched maybe 15 feet in the air,
Well, he was
half
trying
of
to
his
flips.
leg in the rim, and then
I'll do
fall and almost bust his hip or break his neck? I'm
I'm doing
46 years old. I can't play those games.
My number's $2,000. $2,000, and I'm doing that.
Okay, we
2,000.
doing that.
You get 2,000.
We doing
together.
that.
You get 2,000 together. I will dunk off an elephant trunk. I
Done.
promise you.
Done.
I promise you, I
Done.
will do it for 2,000 cash.
Venmo. Done.
We have another second-round series locked up. It will be, as we expected, the Raptors and the Sixers. We will preview that, and also we'll be joined later on in the show by Schoolboy Q.
Got to give the people